Lesson: Express and implied contracts. Express and implied contracts form the backbone of contractual agreements in law, serving as foundational concepts for understanding the nature and enforceability of promises between parties. These contracts are pivotal in varied professional settings, offering frameworks for ensuring that agreements are both legally binding and equitable. Understanding express and implied contracts equips contract specialists with the tools to navigate complex legal landscapes effectively. An express contract is characterized by clearly stated terms, either orally or in writing. It requires the parties involved to articulate their intentions and obligations explicitly. This contractual form is straightforward, providing a tangible record of the agreement, which can be pivotal during disputes. For instance, in the landmark case of Lucy v. Zehmer, the court upheld an express contract for the sale of a farm based on a written agreement, despite one party's assertion that the contract was a joke. This case highlights the legal significance of clear terms, as the written agreement served as undeniable evidence of the parties' intentions. Zehmer. On the other hand, implied contracts arise from the conduct of the parties or the circumstances of the situation, rather than explicit statements. These contracts can be further divided into two categories: implied in fact and implied in law. Implied in fact contracts are established by the actions of the parties involved, reflecting their intentions even without written or spoken words. For example, when a person walks into a restaurant and orders a meal, an implied in fact contract is formed where the diner agrees to pay for the meal upon consumption. This agreement is not articulated verbally, but is inferred from the conduct of the parties involved. Implied in law contracts, or quasi-contracts, are not true contracts, but are imposed by courts to prevent unjust enrichment. They ensure that one party does not unfairly benefit at the expense of another. An illustrative case is Bailey v. West, where a horse was left in the care of another party without an express or implied agreement. The court ruled that there was no contract, as there was no mutual assent or benefit conferred intentionally. This demonstrates the boundaries of implied in law contracts, where courts impose obligations only to prevent inequitable outcomes. Professionals can benefit from frameworks for distinguishing between express and implied contracts, as these frameworks provide clarity in assessing contractual obligations. A practical tool for this purpose is the Intent and Conduct Assessment Matrix, which evaluates the presence of explicit terms, conduct, and the context of interactions. By systematically analyzing these factors, professionals can determine the nature of a contract, facilitating appropriate legal strategies. Additionally, understanding the nuances of express and implied contracts allows professionals to draft more robust agreements. For instance, incorporating specific clauses that address potential areas of ambiguity can transform implied expectations into express terms. This proactive approach minimizes the risk of disputes and enhances the enforceability of contracts. Contract specialists can use templates to identify common areas of ambiguity and ensure comprehensive coverage of contractual obligations. Real-world applications of express and implied contracts are abundant across industries. In employment settings, express contracts often take the form of written employment agreements, outlining duties, compensation, and terms of employment. Conversely, implied contracts may arise from company policies or customary practices. For example, an implied contract might be inferred if an employer consistently provides annual bonuses based on performance, even if not explicitly stated in the employment agreement. Understanding these dynamics enables professionals to navigate employment law effectively, ensuring that both employer and employee rights are protected. When disputes arise, professionals equipped with a deep understanding of express and implied contracts can leverage negotiation and mediation techniques to resolve conflicts. Tools such as the Contractual Dispute Resolution Framework guide professionals through a structured approach, emphasizing communication, understanding of contractual terms, and alternative dispute resolution methods. This framework fosters collaborative problem-solving, reducing the likelihood of litigation and preserving business relationships. Statistics underscore the importance of mastering contract types in professional settings. A study by the International Association for Contract and Commercial Management found that poor contract management leads to significant value erosion, with an estimated 9.2% of annual revenue lost due to suboptimal contracting practices. This highlights the financial implications of inadequate contract understanding and management, emphasizing the need for specialists to excel in this domain. Case studies further illustrate the practical application of express and implied contracts. In the healthcare industry, express contracts are critical in agreements between providers and patients, where consent forms explicitly outline procedures and associated risks. However, implied contracts often govern the expectations of care quality and confidentiality inferred from the provider-patient relationship. By understanding these dual aspects, healthcare professionals can enhance patient trust and reduce legal risks. In construction, express contracts typically define project scope, timelines, and payment terms. Yet, implied contracts may arise from industry norms and practices, such as assuming liability for defects. Construction professionals who grasp these concepts can better manage project risks and ensure compliance with legal standards. Tools like the Construction Contract Compliance Checklist help identify potential areas of implied obligations, ensuring comprehensive project oversight. In conclusion, the distinction between express and implied contracts is essential for contract specialists aiming to excel in their field. By leveraging frameworks such as the Intent and Conduct Assessment Matrix and the Contractual Dispute Resolution Framework, professionals can enhance their proficiency in identifying, drafting, and managing contracts. The integration of express terms in agreements and the awareness of implied obligations empower professionals to navigate complex legal landscapes effectively, minimizing risks and maximizing the value derived from contractual relationships. As evidenced by case studies and industry statistics, mastering these contract types is not only a legal necessity, but also a strategic advantage in today's competitive environment.